All right, so Heroes of Oshkosh is kind of like a living organism. It's like an ecosystem growing on its own. Why I say that is we didn't go out and say, hey, we need people to help move. People just started helping move, and they got organized by themselves. Originally called themselves Heroes with Trucks, and then eventually it changed to Hero Haulers. Now it's a network that created itself. We had specialists reaching out to us from other organizations being like, hey, I saw this through a back channel message, I would recommend this. Well, would you mind jumping in a boardroom with us so we can all share ideas? Sure. None of it we built. It grew on its own. It's really, really a special thing. It's like community being like, hey, I remember what it's like to be a neighbor. I remember what it's like to, hey, do you have any sugar? I'm making these cookies and I'm kind of stuck here. We've taken that game to a whole new level. We've always been trying to help in the community. And there was a couple recent house fires, and I had put out like, hey guys, let's find them something, let's get them a place to land. So within a few days, we were able to find an apartment. We were able to get furniture, beds, and all stuff for them, the things that they need, because they literally lost everything. And after that, I started getting a lot of requests of people, I need help, and also people, how do I help? Do they still need items? So I thought I'd create this group where the dots could connect themselves, kind of take it off my plate, and there may be 300 people in there. Backfire. Yeah, in a good way, in a great way, yeah. So it's kind of developed into a second full-time job. We have one heck of a team behind it, and now we have people getting help on a daily basis, to the point where we are finally starting to have other resources recommend us as a resource. And that was really special. When somebody said Forward Services told me to connect with you guys to help with the needs, that was awesome. Well, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We want to let people know that there's things out there. And now, even though there's all these great organizations in Oshkosh, there are still gaps in the system. Like, there's no real good places for people to get a bed or to get it transported to the place they need. So we're kind of filling those gaps. And by doing so, we can take a lot of pressure off the organizations in Oshkosh. So you don't have to worry about that. They can find somebody like the Christiane Center. They can find somebody apartment, or Damascus Roads. If they can find somebody apartment, we can take care of putting the ask out there, and the community fills the needs. So we'll be able to bring beds and furniture and be able to get them the fresh start. At the same point, we're actually able to recommend and refer people to services they didn't know exist. A lot of the posts that come through our Facebook group don't even make it to the page. We intercept them, we put it to our boardroom of specialists, and then we figure out the process and the different programs out there for them, and we can refer them directly without even hitting the page. It's amazing.
The Heroes of Oshkosh Facebook page is a great way for a community to come together and share those resources to help everybody flourish and do a little bit better than they were before. There are about 12 people in the Heroes headquarters group that do a lot of the sorting out of each need and each offer to help, and sort of vet a lot of those things so that we keep it clear and clean with our bill of needs, and keeping things consistent so that things run effectively, but also then sort things out to our hero advocates and our heroes haulers, that are people that are going around and carrying the heavy stuff. And so that's another group we have that's about 8 or 9 folks that, and we're always looking for more, that have a truck or young arms that can lift stuff and move it for people. That's so behind the scenes we have about 40 people total that are doing some of this background work to help the page run successfully.
That's really good.
Our hopes for the future are, for Heroes of Oshkosh, are to continue to grow the resources that we are able to offer. So we have right now a few different storage places where if somebody says there's an estate sale, or we're moving out of town and we can't take all this stuff with us, do you have a need for 3 beds? And if we don't at the moment, we need somewhere to hold those so that we can make sure they're safe and secure for the next family that does come up that needs those things. And so that's part of what we're doing, is building our own capacity that way and working with agencies that have that kind of space. And then also we've been growing new heroes groups. So there's a new one in Fredericksburg, Virginia. There's one in Ripon. There's one in Shawano County. They're starting to pop up other places. And we're really looking for Fond du Lac and Appleton to start their own. That's sort of our next places that are a challenge for our resources to stretch. When we hear of needs in those areas, and we've been able to do some of that, but the more that we can activate those communities, the more effective the whole organization can be, and multiple organizations can be.
One of the big things why we don't have money involved, like you can't ask for money and you can't ask for gift cards, because we don't want people to feel like they're not good enough to help. A lot of the help that we're getting and the needs that are being met are from people that don't have much to begin with. People that have been hungry, the people that have been in that situation that understand if they have an extra, they're the first to give it, which is why we vet the ask, because we want to make sure that we're protecting the good spirit of the people that don't have much that want to give. We have just as much responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of as the people that have the needs. And the thing is, a need isn't always just a bed. Sometimes it's an elderly person on a fixed income that needs help shoveling, or somebody who's disabled that needs somebody to take them to a food pantry and help them carry things. And there's great things out there, like we have food pantries, but if you're on the bus line, you don't have a vehicle, you're expected to hop on that bus, carry 80 pounds of groceries back to your house. That doesn't work. So this allows people that don't have much, but maybe they have a vehicle that runs. They can pair up with these people, they can give them a ride to the food pantry, maybe start a friendship, give them a ride back and help them with the groceries. It's the little things. It's the little things that matter. I would like to think that people are smiling at each other a little bit more in Oshkosh these days. Oshkosh community it's amazing. I don't think people understand the balance that we have here in Oshkosh. We are big enough to have the resources that we need and small enough to still know each other and care about each other. It is like the absolute perfect balance for a city. That's why I love it so much. We do care and we do step up and we do want to help each other. It's not like New York where somebody's laying on a sidewalk and people are stepping over them. That's not going to happen here. There are people out there willing to help. So as long as we're still small enough to make those connections, it is the biggest little city you'll ever know, then we might as well make those connections. And this is a thoroughfare for people to actually make the connections. It has turned into lots of dots connecting themselves, and it's amazing.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive, and House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.